Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Are you ready to improve your Spanish? So in this video, we are going to practice using stem changing verbs in the present tense in Spanish. Specifically, we're focusing on the pattern of E that changes to IE. Remember that there are 3 stem changing patterns, and I do have 2 separate videos about the other 2 patterns. So if you're working on your stem changing verbs, be sure to watch those other 2 videos. Just go back to my channel homepage to find them. Remember to review the topic in your textbook. You can watch that grammar tutorial video. You can also Google the topic and you'll find some great YouTube videos that explain how stem changing verbs work in the present tense. And when you're ready to practice, then come here. That's what this video is about. It's about the practice, forcing you to use them, so that will help you to remember them. Remember, the only way to gain the skill is through practice. So let's get started. Just a little bit of review. We're going to go ahead and start with the verb preferir, which is kind of the typical verb that all Spanish textbooks give you when you're introduced to stem changing verbs, the E to IE pattern. So notice the forms here as we conjugate it. Notice that the E, not the first one, but the second one, when you conjugate it, it becomes an IE. So for the first one, yo prefiero. Notice we don't say yo prefiero, we say prefiero. That E becomes a diphthong, so it's an IE. Yo prefiero, I prefer. Tú prefieres, you prefer. Usted prefiere. Él prefiere. Ella prefiere. Notice that those 3 are all the same. The stem change disappears in the nosotros and the vosotros forms, so preferimos and preferís. And then it returns in the ustedes, ellos, ellas forms, prefieren. And really, it's just a matter of practice to help you remember it. So let's go ahead and get started. There are 2 patterns. You can use preferir with a noun to say that you prefer something. You can also use preferir with another infinitive to say that you prefer to do something. So we're going to practice with both. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. If you're at a restaurant and you're deciding on what to eat, if you want to say, I prefer the salad, if you're given some choices, how would you say that? I prefer the salad. Remember, it's just the conjugated form of preferir and the noun for the salad. Prefiero la ensalada. Prefiero la ensalada. Prefiero la ensalada. Now here's with the second pattern, the conjugated verb with the infinitive. So I prefer to go out. To go out is the verb, the infinitive salir. I prefer to go out this evening. ¿Cómo se dice? Prefiero salir esta noche. Prefiero salir esta noche. Somebody might ask you, ¿prefieres salir o quedarte en casa? Do you prefer to go out or stay at home? Prefiero salir esta noche. Back to preferring food. If I wanted to say you prefer the chicken. Prefieres el pollo. Prefieres el pollo. Now that's just a statement. You prefer the chicken. If I want to ask the question, do you prefer the chicken? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Prefieres el pollo? ¿Prefieres el pollo? Remember, Spanish questions, there's a slight rise to your intonation towards the end. ¿Prefieres el pollo? ¿Prefieres el pollo? Do you prefer the chicken? She prefers the soup. She prefers the soup. Now in Spanish you can say la sopa or el caldo. We're going to go with caldo here. She prefers the soup. Ella prefiere el caldo. Ella prefiere el caldo. She prefers the soup. Ella prefiere el caldo. We prefer to walk. This is with an infinitive. So we're going back and forth here, noun, infinitive, noun, infinitive. We prefer to walk. Preferimos caminar. Preferimos caminar. We prefer to walk. Preferimos caminar. They prefer to drive. They prefer to drive. Remember, to drive is manejar. Ellos prefieren manejar. Ellas prefieren manejar. Ellos prefieren manejar. Ellas prefieren manejar. We didn't specify which they, so it could be either one, ellos or ellas. Okay, so now that you get the idea, that you understand how these stem changing verbs work, it's just a matter of learning some of the others. So these are other E to IE stem changers. For example, the verb cerrar, to close. Notice E to IE, cierro, cierra, cierra. Cerramos, cerráis, cierran. Notice that the changes occur in all of the forms except for the nosotros and the vosotros. So the nosotros and the vosotros don't have the changes, but all of the other forms do. Okay, so we have cerrar. Querer is another very important verb. It's very common. You'll use it all the time. Querer means to want. So we have quiero, quieres, quiere, queremos, queréis, quieren. Pensar, also important, to think. Notice the E to the IE, pienso, piensas, piensa, pensamos, pensáis, piensan. Entender, to understand. Entiendo, entiendes, entiende, entendemos, entendéis, entienden. Okay, well that's it for this video. If you didn't get them all right during the practice part, go back to the beginning and try to guess the answers before I show them to you. And once you're able to do that, then you've really learned something. And remember, if you're working on your present tense stem changing verbs, be sure to go and check out my other videos on the other stem changing patterns for the present tense. Adios.